Hello and welcome to the second part of the ER group of verbs. In the first part, we have understood the concept of ER group of verb and why do we call them as a regular verb. Now in this video, that is the second part, we will be understanding more about the ER group of verbs. Now before going further, first let me congratulate Madhav once again, who has given the perfect answer for my previous question about the principal verbs in French. Though many of you have tried to attempt or try to give the answer, but I was looking into the perfect explanation which Madhav has given. And in today's video, towards the end, I will be posting the question of the day. Make sure to attempt that question within the span of time or else it cannot be considered. So without further delay, let us move on to today's video. Lesson 13, part 2. Yes, so in this part we are going to view about the ER group of verbs once again. In part 1, we have discussed about the ER group of verb and how do we conjugate an ER group of verb. So here we are going to discuss about few irregularities that you can see in an ER group of verb. We have understood that ER is a regular group of verb. We have also understood an equation how to do an ER group of verb in part 1. So in part 2, we will be emphasizing on the irregularity that we usually see in a ER group of verb, as it is actually speaking a regular group of verb, but then irregularity is not in the way that you have seen être, avoir and aller, but there are certain irregularities that comes in between. Let us see what it is. ER group of verbs in French. Yes, the second part of the ER group of verbs in French. Common ER verbs in French. We are going also to analyze the common verbs in French. We have already discussed that it's a first group of verb among the three groups of verbs in French. Okay, so here is common ER verbs in French. Now here, first of all, we are going to look into the second formula or a second type of ER group of verb, that is a verb when it is starting with a vowel. When the verb is starting with a vowel, you have seen the previous verb, it was starting with a consonant, that was parler. Now today we are going to see a verb that's starting with a vowel, aimer. Let us see what is an irregularity when we are having a verb in ER which is starting with a vowel. J'aime, you can see in the first pronoun sujet itself. When we did the conjugation of parler verb, we have just added the equations of making an ER group of verb, whereas here you can see that je, which is as a je, has been replaced with a j apostrophe because it is starting with a vowel. And this change only happens with the first person, that is je. It is never something included with the other subject pronouns. So j'aime, tu aimes, il on aime, elle on aime, nous aimions, vous aimiez, il aime, elle aime. So you can see again here all the equations that we have used in the previous or the first part for conjugating parler, the ER group of verb. The same equations or the radicals has been added to the stem. Here the stem is AIM and the radicals have been used appropriately according to the subject pronoun, that is E, ES, E, ONS, EZ and ENT. So that remains same the way you conjugate an ER group of verb. Any ER group of verb that you are conjugating, the radicals or the formula remains same. It will never change. But keep in mind for present tense. We are talking about present tense right now. We have past tense, we have future tense. There are many forms of verbs that we'll be studying in French in the coming videos. But right now, what the changes I'm telling you is only about the ER group of verbs in the present tense. Let us go further. Now, common ER verbs, I have already told you that there are many verbs in French which is in ER, but let us see few common verbs that is usually used in French. Jouer, to play. Regarder, to look at. Danser, to dance. Écouter, to listen. Dîner, to dine. Téléphoner, to telephone. Chanter, to sing. Travailler, to work, not to travel. So that's totally different. Though we say travailler, traveling will come into your mind, but travailler in French is to work. So these are certain common used verbs in ER in French, which is usually used, I should say. There are many more, but then few I have mentioned here for your reference. Try to do the conjugation of these verbs so that you get a good practice over the ER group of verbs. So, jouer, as I have already told you that an infinite form in English can be identified with the to form. Here you can say to play, to look at, to dance, to listen, to dine, to telephone, to sing, to work, which in French is jouer, regarder, danser, écouter, dîner, téléphoner, chanter, and travailler. So these are the commonly used ER group of verb and its infinite form, and the meaning is already given to you. And you also know the conjugation of these verbs. How do you conjugate the ER group of verb? Let us go further and understand few irregularities that I was telling you in the ER group of verb. Okay, the first one, let us see ER verbs ending with the spelling with the stem GER. When an ER group of verb ends in GER, what is the irregularity that you can see? Some ER verbs, otherwise regular, as we have already discussed, show spelling or stem changes in the present tense, largely to maintain pronunciation. These can be learned according to their groups, verbs ending in GER. So whenever you see a verb or come across a verb in ER which ends in GER, you can see this irregularity in the GER group of verb. Now what is that irregularity? We are going to find out. Verbs ending in GER, examples are ranger or nager, to swim, voyager, to travel, manger, to eat, and arranger, to arrange. Okay, so here I have given the example of a few verbs for you to identify that that ends in GER. One is nager, voyager, manger, and ranger. To swim, to eat, to travel, to arrange. So these are few examples of GER verbs. Don't say only ER, though they come under ER group of verb, but they are termed as GER verbs. When conjugating these verbs, that is ending in GER, add E before adding ONS in the new form. That means whenever you are conjugating with the new form, that is first person plural, you need to add an E before the ONS. So rather than just adding the radical ONS with the new form, you will be adding EONS with the new form. Example is nous mangions. Nous mangions. Manger verb is an ER group of verb which comes under GER. So you have added an E before O and after G. And this irregularity come only in ONS, not with any other subject pronoun. So when you use nous with a GER group of verb, you have to add an E with the nous conjugation. If you forget to put it, it's wrong, it's mistake. It's a big mistake in the conjugation. So nous mangions, which means we eat. Right? So let us go further. ER verbs with the spellings and the stem GER. With verbs ending in GER such as voyager, to travel, the G becomes GE before the letter O, as we know it's because before ONS. Other GER verbs includes bouger, changer, corriger, manger, nager, partager, plonger, protager. So these are the other verbs. Verbs ending in CER. We have understood when the verb is starting with a vowel. We have understood the irregularity when it is starting or with a verb which is a GER. Now the third irregularity that we are going to see is the verb in ER which ends in CER. So CER. Some ER verbs are otherwise regular. We know that ER verbs are regular verbs that show spelling or stem changes in the present tense, largely to maintain pronunciation. These can be learned according to their groups. Verbs ending in CER, with verbs ending in CER such as pronounce. So it is ending with CER. So that's how we understand that it's a CER verb. When it ends in CER, it comes in that particular group in ER. Let us understand further. To pronounce the C, sir, Sidil, you can see there. So when you have that particular sound with a no formation before the letter O, that's why I am specifying it as with the no formation. Most of the irregularities, if you check out, usually comes in with the no form. There are irregularities with the other subject pronoun as well, but most of the time it happens with the no formation of the verb. So what you have to keep in mind is that verbs ending in CER will be having, for example, here pronounce, which means to pronounce. The C becomes sidil, the C with a sidil. You have already understood what is a sidil in my video where I have explained to you about the accent marks in French. We have done a very elaborate discussion on a sidil. Sidil makes the sound of C as sir. Otherwise, the C can be sounded as ker as well. There are at times where we need to pronounce the C as ker, and at times we have to pronounce the C as sir. So when you have to sound the C as sir, you put a sidil below C. That's how you make it a C sound into S sound. So let us understand it in the better way. ER verbs with the spellings and the stem changing as a CER. The sidil, which is a comma below C, keep the soft pronunciation of the C in the infinite form. Other CER verbs includes avancer, commencer, menacer, énoncer, placer, and financer. So, as I told you that there are many ER group of verbs which ends in CER, GER, OYER, YER. So, the best part you have to keep in mind is that they are regular, but there are slight irregularities that comes in between the verbs. So here you can see the irregularity is happening along with the no formation where you have to use a sidil in the no formation under C to make it sound as sir. So commençons, take an example, will be an example for a sidil used with a no form. Let us understand it. How is it done? With the another ER group of verb which is ending with E plus L plus ER. So this is another third irregularity which happens with an ER group of verb. A verb that ends with E plus L plus ER. We have understood the irregularities when it is with the vowel starting with a vowel. We have understood the irregularity when the verb ends with GER. We have also understood the irregularity then we are having a conjugation with CER. Now the fourth type is E plus L plus ER. Let us see what is it. Some verbs composed of E plus L plus ER such as appeler, to spell, applies to spell, sometimes take two L's in all subject pronouns I mean to say here, but the first and the second person plural. The first and the second person plural, the first person plural is nous and the second person plural is vous. So in all but the first and the second person plural has only single L. That's the irregularity you have to keep in mind. So when you conjugate a particular verb in ER, which ends with the E plus L plus ER, example is appeler, Or here you can also see appeler, which means to call. It's ending with E plus L plus ER. So you can see the conjugation of this appeler verb. J'appelle, nous appelons, tu appelles, vous appelez, elle appela, il appela. So you can see that with the first person, second person and third person singular, that is je, tu, il, elle, you can see the doubling of the consonant L, whereas with nous and vous there is only single L. Again with il and L plural, you have the double L consonant. So when you have a verb in ER which ends with E plus L plus ER, we'll see this irregularity. So keep in mind how a particular ER group of verb ends in the infinite form for you to understand the irregularity that comes within the verb. Though in general, it's a regular group of verb. How? Because the equation that we are using is same. E, ES, E, ONS, EZ, ENT remain same by conjugating all the ER group of verbs, except certain irregularities that comes in between the verbs. That sometimes happens with the nous form or vous form, sometimes happens only with the nous form, sometimes with the pronoun sujet je, which changes into an apostrophe when you are starting the verb with a vowel. Right? So these are the irregularities that you need to understand. Okay, let us see few verbs that ends in E plus L plus ER. Other verbs that follows the same pattern are appeler, encenseler, étinceler, fianceler, rappeler, and renouveler. So these all are the verbs which comes or which ends with ELER or E plus L plus ER. So this is the irregularity. You have already understood the doubling of the consonant. The doubling of the consonant L with the first person, second person, third person and the third person plural, and not doubling of the consonant L with nous and vous. So with nous and vous, you are not doubling the consonant L, whereas you double the consonant with the first person, second person, third person singular and the third person plural. Okay, so coming up next is the common verbs. For example, once again we will be checking out the verbs. Commencer, a CER verb. Let us see the conjugation once again. Je commence, tu commences, il commence, elle commence, nous commençons. Now I want you to see here the cedille used under C. This is the irregularity that we were talking about. So with the nous formation, you have used the cedille to sound it as se and not que. Vous commencez, ils commençons, and elles commençons. So this is the way you have conjugated the CER verb, wherein the equation remains same. The only thing is that you have added a C with a cedille with the nous formation. Let us see the next irregular verb that we have studied before. Manger, it is ending with a GER. Je mange, tu manges, il mange, elle mange, nous mangions, vous mangez, il mangea, and elle mangea. Yes, so this is the GER verb. You can see an E has been used with the nous formation. Otherwise, all the equations are same. E, ES, E, ONS, EZ and ENT. But you have used an extra E with the nous formation, and that's applicable with all the ER group of verb that ends in GER. Let us see the third one that we have studied. Appeler, ending with ELER. J'appelle, tu appelles, il appelle, elle appelle, nous appelons, vous appelez, ils appelons, and elles appelons. So you can see that the doubling of the consonant L with je, tu, il, elle, and il, elle plural, whereas there is no doubling of the consonant with nous and vous. So I'm sure now you have understood how an ER group of verb which is otherwise considered as a regular group of verb in French, though it is, yes, because the equation remains same, but few verbs in ER that ends probably in CER, GER and E plus L plus ER has got certain irregularities which you need to keep in mind when you do the conjugations in French. Because if you don't keep in mind these irregularities, my friends, you will go wrong in the conjugations of doing an ER group of verb, which will be considered either as a spelling error or as a wrong conjugated form. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Now, coming up next is the most awaited one. That's the question of the day. Yes. So this is the question of the day, question du jour. It's a very easy one. You have a set of words which you have to match with the expressions given. These verbs need to be understand the way the expression is used. You have 5 questions there. I want you to choose the correct answer according to the verb given and put it in the comment box there. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that the correct answer should reach before 16th August. That's the most important thing. If it comes after 16th August, it will not be valid. So make sure that to visit both the videos, part 1 and part 2, because it's a continuation. As the topic is very important, I thought of not putting it together because you may get confused. So that's the only reason which I have divided this particular topic into 2, part 1 and part 2. So make sure to understand the video that is part 1 as well as part 2, and please attempt the question. Please, I want more and more people to understand the concepts of this beautiful language. I'm sure you will be sharing and forwarding and also practicing yourself as well. And make sure to send me the correct answer in the comment box before 16th August. And I'm sure that you will be practicing the conjugations. This is the first group of verb that we have studied today. There are many more to come. So please keep practicing. Hope you enjoyed today's video and have understood the concept of a ER group of verb. ER group of verb, which is considered to be the first group of verb, is also considered as a regular group of verb, but you have seen the irregularities in this verb as well. We have just understood the first group of verb and we are yet to understand the remaining 2. So make sure you don't skip on to any of the videos that I will be uploading. So make sure to subscribe and press on to the bell icon. I would like to tell my viewers that in the next video I will be coming up with something little different from our regular concept, that is grammar. As I thought that my viewers will be having in the mind that how is this foreign language going to benefit them for their career, for their future. So in my next video I will be coming up with a very good explanation, the 10 good reasons for learning this beautiful foreign language. You will be understanding the importance of this language. How is this going to add on as a trump card for your future and for your career? Till then, take good care of your health. Keep watching my videos. Keep practicing the grammar that I am giving to you. And also make sure to attempt the question of the day before the deadline so that it can be considered as the answer that has come to me before 16th of August and is considered valid. Answer it perfectly so that I am also happy to announce the winner to the best way. Thank you and have a nice day.